Thanks everyone for joining us today. A little change in the schedule, everyone. We have Sammy Whitcomb, we have Dee Dee Richards. Apologies for the last minute change, but if you have questions, raise your hands. We'll get started here. Andrew Lipton.
Hi, thanks, Alicia. Hi, good morning, ladies. This question's for Dee Dee. Dee Dee, last game you were terrific defensively. And what I also saw that I thought was really good was you were very confident. Even on offense, there was twice when I saw you get the ball, you kind of assertively kind of made a move. Have you worked on your confidence defensively? I mean, you were also being verbal and communicative on defense. Have you worked on anything to build your confidence? And how do you build your confidence offensively going forward?
Honestly, I don't think it's something you work on. I think it's something that your team kind of instills in you. And I think my team does a good job at, making me feel confident, whether that's defensively or offensively. I think everyone knows that it's more of a struggle for me offensively. And I think over break, my teammates kept pushing me to shoot the ball or be confident because I'm a playmaker or whatever. But I just think that's something that my teammates and my coaches have done a good job at, emphasizing for me.
And how about defensively? Do you feel you were more confident this last game?
I do. That also came with the scouting report. I mean, we really exercised the scouting report. I just really went out of my way to do what I have been doing in practice and what they have been teaching me for the last 2-3 weeks.
Gotcha. Thank you. And hi, Sam.
Hey. Jackie Powell.
Hey all, thank you so much for being here. So I've got a question for each. So I'll start with Dee Dee and then head over to Sammy. So Dee Dee, you were out there for quite a bit as it was communicated earlier. How did that feel? And what is your role and your goals going into this series against Seattle that has a really long offense that, you'll probably match up well against? And what type of encouragement have the coaches given you going into this?
I'm going to start with your first question. I think my role is to go out there and bring some energy on the court or whatever they need me to do whenever something's not going right or play defense. It kind of depends on the game and what's going on in the flow of the game. And what was your third question? Fourth, fifth question? Okay. Well, yes, my coaches do a really good job at encouraging me and making me feel, like I'm needed. Because it gets to a point where you kind of don't. And then I think my teammates and coaches do a great job at making me feel like when I go out there, my mark is felt. So just being able to reciprocate what they're already instilling in me is what I'm really trying to do when I get out there.
That's brilliant. And sorry for overwhelming you there. And so for Sammy, I'm curious as to if you could talk about how bringing on Natasha into the fold now is a bit of a transition, and maybe assuming that she'd, fit in straight away might have been a little unfair to assume. You all had a certain identity in the first half. And so how exactly has it been, making some adjustments, making sure people get different touches and things of that sort?
I actually fit in beautifully at 30 points. Really worked well with what we're trying to do and gave us looks that we don't typically have in the paint. Whenever we wanted, really. So, we've got obviously really great other bigs, but in terms of her versatility and what she brings, it suits our style. So, I actually don't think that there's been any issues with that and transitioning with that. We've also had her for the whole Olympic break, basically. So it wasn't new so much for us. We've been, all training together. And for me, I already have a lot of familiarity with her as well. But, I think it's more just about continuing to grow as a group with our team chemistry, and that will be an ongoing process. But for me, I thought her addition was pretty seamless in terms of her execution and finding her and being that immediate impact.
And just to follow up quickly on that, how, I guess, do you think that could take some pressure off of Benijah? I mean, I know there was an issue in the first half, sort of with you all, letting her do her thing, and then sometimes she got a little overwhelmed.
I don't want to speak for B, but I think, yeah, I imagine having another focal point offensively and having it be a post player. Yeah, we'll obviously relinquish some of that, I guess, pressure to be our main offensive threat. Yeah.
Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
Kelly Cohen.
Whew, that was quick. Okay. Hi guys, Kelly Cohen with ESPN. This question probably seems really random, but it's for a longer term story I'm working on across the league. I was wondering if either of you two had an opinion on, what you would change about the WNBA going forward and what some priorities would be. I know I talked to some players last night as an example. I know obviously travel and testing and commercial flights, that's something that's always on your mind. One player just said listening to us, right? Like when there's something on our mind, like listen to us and take it into action. Don't just dismiss it. So I was wondering if either two of you guys had an opinion on that.
I would agree about the travel for sure. I think just the schedule in general sometimes can be intense as well, obviously. And I know sometimes that's not something that they can necessarily change too much, but I think sometimes the schedule and how it's done, I think doesn't always maybe make sense. But again, there's a lot of behind the scenes work I know that goes into that. So those would probably for me be the ones that stand out the most.
Cool, thank you.
Sorry.
Miles Ehrlich.
Hi, good to talk to you both this morning. Didi, first for you, after tonight, you'll have faced every team in the WNBA. What defensive matchup has been the toughest so far? And is there a player out there that you haven't gotten a go at yet that's on your list that you want to match up with?
The toughest so far, defensively as a team or individually?
Individually.
I definitely think Arike is a really hard person to keep in front of you. She has like a full head of steam going downhill 24/7. So I think that, but in terms of movement, then I want to say Allie Quigley doesn't stop moving off of screen. So it's one of those two. And then the second question was?
If you have someone else on your list that you haven't yet matched up with. Sorry, thanks, Sammy.
It would have been Stewie. I would have been really excited to go against her, but as we found out, she's not playing. So I mean, that was like the one of them. And then Super, just going against the greats and being on the same floor as them. I think that's just more of an excitement kind of thing than just guarding them,
For sure, and you might get that chance on Friday. And then Sammy, you're obviously very familiar with the team you're facing tonight. Have you and Natasha been able to contribute to the scout for tonight's game, especially having played a season with that core in 2019 without Brianna Stewart and Sue Bird?
Yeah, I mean, that's been obviously useful. The coaches have done a really good job of scouting them as well. Obviously, they've had the last game and a couple, I think, of other games where, they haven't always had the full roster and stuff too. So I think that's been really good. But yeah, I mean, there have been subtleties and little things that we can kind of contribute that I think are always really helpful.
Thanks so much. Good luck tonight.
Thanks.
Paul Datino.
Yeah, Sammy, let me ask you, in terms of your experience being to the finals and winning championships, what can you tell some of your teammates who have not had that type of experience that they can use down the stretch here in the second half of the season, trying to get into the postseason?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this week, but I think just staying focused on each game, not looking too far ahead. Obviously, we have goals we want to achieve and all of that, but it's game to game, and each game is really vital at this stage in terms of reaching those goals. So making sure that we really take care of business and we walk into each game and make sure that we have a sense of urgency coming into each one and we really capitalize on our opportunities here. I think that's probably been the biggest thing right now, just staying in that moment.
And you also happen to mention before about the road trips. This is the beginning of a 5-game homestand for your club. So how significant do you have to make some waves here during this stretch?
Yeah, this is a really great opportunity for us. Obviously, we get to be home. We don't have to travel. We get to play in front of, our fans, just have that extra sort of advantage and comfort. So yeah, for us, that's absolutely part of it. But again, that starts with the first game, and that's tonight. So want to make sure we take care of business here, and then we'll look at the next home game, and then it'll be the next home game kind of thing. But for sure, while we're home, we want to make sure we take advantage of that.
Thank you.
Jeff Magliochetti.
Hey, welcome back. Good to talk to you guys. You can hear me, right? I'm sorry, I'm on the road.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So Sammy, my first question is for you. Going into this two-parter with Seattle, what are some of the qualities of those championship teams that you see lying, perhaps not in plain sight, but perhaps lying on this current Liberty squad?
I think, we've got that team chemistry going. We've got the culture that we're trying to build in terms of, working really hard, working for each other, all of those kinds of things, the energy, the effort stuff. So now it's just about the execution, the detailed things, and that comes with the experience. It comes from playing together more, obviously, that teams like Seattle and the top teams have, and that's what we're trying to build to as well. So we want to obviously have that foundation that we're creating, and now we want to build on that with the experience and the things that are like the next level, that really take focus. That's going to be a big step for us. Hopefully we can make that step now leading into this sort of, last 10 games.
Thank you. And Didi, my next question is for you. You got your first quote unquote half of your first WNBA season, anything but ordinary, I guess you could call it. So what did you learn most about yourself as both a human being and a basketball player throughout this process?
As a human being, I think I learned to listen to myself and my body a little more. It really took a toll on me going from college to straight to WNBA. So I think just listening to the little nicks and knacks that were happening, I had to, kind of sit back and actually go get treatment. I think before I was kind of against the training room and stuff like that. So now I'm trying to really sit and, get my body better, get stronger in the weight room and things like that. As an athlete, I learned that there's not just one side of the ball. I think I really played my whole life just playing one side of the ball in a way. And I love the team that I'm on because they were able to teach me different things. And I'm just learning to be a sponge on and off the court from my teammates, the vets, even the rookies that are second-year rookies, just being able to learn from them and everything we do and just being able to know what to do when I get out there.
Appreciate your time and insight, both of you. Have fun out there tonight.
Thanks, Sammy and Didi. Thank you all for joining. We will send the recording shortly.